as a massive campaign has started for Heichel Menachem in Borough Park in honor of Harav Leib Oltein and Rabbi Yisrael Stern and the whole staff, I was asked just to say a few words about my personal interaction with Reb Yoel. So I would just like to share two small little points, but with these two little things. There are many more, but I just picked two for today. The first one, it sounds like a tiny little story, but as far as I'm concerned, in my life it was big. This goes back in the years Tavshin Lamed Hey, Lamed Vav, approximately 1975, 76. At that time I was a young Bacharel, 14, 15 years old, and I was learning in the yeshiva in Ocean Parkway, the Lubavitch Yeshiva on Ocean Parkway. Till then, to me, Reb Yoel was the chayzer. It was this unbelievable figure that remembers the Rebbe's siches and versteht chassidus, and there are different types of chassidim. There's chassidim, there's shluchim, there's maskilim, and then there's a chayzer. Of course, here is not the place where to discuss it. Everybody knows, I heard already enough about Reb Yoel. But to us, junge Bocherim, Reb Yoel was Reb Yoel. Then started a system that Reb Yoel used to come 2 or 3 times a week to Ocean Parkway, and he would give a shir to the Eltere Bocherim. They were learning the Samavav. Then we had a surprise that Reb Yoel was masking to give us a shir once a week for an hour, Thursday evening, in Tanya. And he would give us a shir from, I think 8 till 9, 8 o'clock till 9 o'clock, approximately at that time. We were in awe of the shir. And Reb Yoel, the way he explained things was, of course, phenomenal. One time, we were holding Perek Yitches, and I decided that I want to prepare a kasha to ask Reb Yoel by the shir. Who am I to ask a kasha to Reb Yoel? And where am I going to find a kasha in Tanya? So I looked through the library and I found this Likutei Biurim on Tanya. Those days there were very few Sfarim on Tanya. Today there's a lot of Sfarim, especially ask Heichel Menachem, all the Sfarim that they have on Tanya with the Biurim from the Reb Yoel. But then there was very little. And I finally found a small little sefer called Halekach Ve'alibuv from the Rav Yudasin, where he has a whole thing on Tanya. And I found a shtickle diuk that he has between Perek Yudches and Perek Mem Beis. One place it says Nefesh, one place it says Nefesh, V'Nefesh, whatever. So I remember when we got to that point in Tanya, so I turned to Reb Yoel and I said, Reb Yoel, Farvos do steht, Azay und dorten steht Azay. I asked him the question. Now, I mostly asked the question because I saw that Harav Dasan discusses it, and I figured, just to, that Bacher should ask a question. Reb Yoel hears the question. I remember he was looking at me over there. And he thought for a moment. Then he gave me a short answer, which shocked me. And I was in awe of that question. I was taught by that question. Do you know what he answered? Something very short. He said, Ich weiß nicht. I was shocked. Not that he said, Ich weiß nicht. Not everybody knows everything. I was shocked that a person of Reb Yoel's stature could turn to a Bacharel who asks him a question, and if he doesn't have the answer, he says, Ich weiß nicht. You're right. I don't have the answer. Let's research. Let's find it. And by saying those few words, if you don't know something, somebody asks you a question, and you don't know the answer, don't try to give all kinds of svaras, etc. Say the truth. You don't know, and that's not enough to say I don't know. Zuch, start looking for the answer. And since then, Baruch Hashem, I've spoken many, many times for Junge Light, for Bochrim, crowds, etc. And a lot of times we discuss questions and answers. What should be said to a person that asks like this? What should be said if a person asks like that? These are called usually the groups of Dama Shetoshiv or Q&A, questions and answers. After we go through all the questions and answers of Baruch Hashem, everything looks beautiful. I always add this line. Guys, remember, if somebody asks you a question and you don't know the answer, don't be afraid to say, ich weiß nicht. Mir darf guckt on. Don't be afraid to do that. That is the concept of emes. A person like Reb Yoel teaches the emes. And not only that, by answering this, you add another line to this and tell that person, do me a favor, give me your email address, give me your phone number. I will find the answer and I will give it to you. And then you made yourself a new friend and you're going to add another person who's going to learn Chassidus, who's going to become a Chassid and do the right things. And again, it's a small little incident in life, but I was young at that time. And when this happened to me, that Reb Yoel told me, I looked at it that he's talking to a 15-year-old bacher, because at that time, I don't know if he knew exactly who I am, but he was looking at a 15-year-old bacher. And if he could say, ich weiß nicht, bedarf guckt on. This for me was what that mir weggestellt hat, the feast. You don't understand something, don't just walk away. Go and figure it out, and then you'll be a chassid, this darf zu sein. This is one of my incidents. The second one was more a humorous type of thing, but this is more, I will not take Reb Yoel's haskala, Reb Yoel's dvarim betelim. Dvarim betelim of a Talmid Chacham, tzrich in limud. And here this one is very interesting. Just a little bit of history first. Until Tafshil Lamed Ches, when the Rebbe had the famous heart attack on Simchas Torah, the Rebbe's schedule was, the Rebbe would come in the morning to 770. If it was Monday and Thursday, Ayom HaKriya, the Rebbe would come at 10 o'clock approximately, and then go into the Zal for Kriya Satera, and then he would go into his room and whatever he did afterwards. The other days, there wasn't a set time when the Rebbe came. Sometimes the Rebbe could have come at 11, 11:30, 12. There was no set time. I just remember how Rabbi Klein, who later became my father-in-law, who was one of the secretaries, he would get a call from the Rebbe's house, and he would go to the Rebbe's house to pick up the Rebbe, and that's how it went. Which means that if someone had to prepare something to give into the Rebbe, they knew that if the next day is 10 o'clock, is Monday or Thursday, by 10 o'clock it has to be ready. If it's another day, he has till 11, 11:30, 12, whenever, because that's when the first mail is going to go into the Rebbe. Things changed in Tafshil Lamed Ches. In Tafshil Lamed Ches, when the Rebbe had a heart attack, so the Rebbe used to sleep in 770, at least till Rosh Chodesh Kislev, and then afterwards, depending on the system. So the Rebbe wanted to work already earlier in the day, not wait till 10, 11 o'clock. Sometimes at 7, 8 in the morning, the Rebbe already wanted to start working. One of the things that we had an unbelievable matana milamayla from the Rebbe, that in Tafshil Lamed Ches, the sichos that the Rebbe said from his room, the Rebbe was magia, almost each one of them. Simchas Torah, Shabbos Breishi, Shabbos Noach. The Rebbe was magia. For us, this was, the Rebbe's magia, sichos, Maimorim. This was totally new. Later, Baruch Hashem, in later years, it became even much more. But that's when it sort of was a breakthrough in Hagoy of the Rebbe. No, the Rebbe used to speak at night, and in the morning, the Rebbe already wanted the Sikha to be able to start working on it. Now, there were basically a few steps to prepare that Sikha. The first thing that had to be done was the Sikha had to be typed from the tape. The Rebbe then spoke Motzei Shabbos, so it was all recorded, so you were able to type it from it. You didn't need Reb Yoel's genius photographic memory to remember all the things that the Rebbe said. So first it had to be typed. Then it had to go through a second stage, and that is when you say things and you write things, it's not always exactly the same, doesn't always sound the same. So you have to take off, add a few words here and there, which of course don't change the teichen, but it gives it more of a understandable text. But then, if this is a sikha that the Rebbe is going to be magia, then that part, once it's already prepared, Reb Yoel used to go over the sikha, and he already had his klolim from the Rebbe, how to prepare a sikha, and he worked on the sikha. So between when the Rebbe said the sikha until he had to start working, could take a few hours until everything was ready for him to start working. So the way he used to work is he used to go home, And then someone, when it was ready, they would call him and say, okay, Reb Yoel, it's ready. 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, whenever it was. And he would come to the office and start working. Sometimes, for whatever reason, it was done the next day. I don't remember now exactly all the details, but that's like that. One time, Reb Yoel said that he's going to call the office to find out if it's ready. I guess you have to go somewhere, whatever it was. So I remember that he asked, what's the phone number here? So we said the phone number is 756-3408. Those days you didn't have to put the area code yet. That was the only had to do, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 756-3408. You talk about now in the 70s, late 70s. Reb Yoel thinks for a moment and he says, okay, beside. One of the guys went over to Reb Yoel and said, wilt u zal schrijven? Do you want me to write it down? He says, no, it's beside. We were shocked. You tell a person a phone number, and that's it. He remembers it. I don't remember if it was B'Shas Maaseh or after that or whatever, but we asked Reb Yoel, how did you remember the number? Just like that. You know how Reb Yoel, whoever saw Reb Yoel, that's garnished. But we pressed him. How did you remember the number? So he was so close to the Bachim, and he sometimes let out a little of his personal, and he said, okay, I'll tell you. There's a famous Maimer from the Fidik Rebbe in Sefer HaMamorim Kutresim, based on a Maimer from the Mittel Rebbe and other Maimorim that start with the Pasuk, V'yosfu anovim b'havaya simcha. The Pasuk in Yeshaya, where Yeshaya says there's a concept which is called the Onov, someone who is humble, and then the Onov has a higher level when he is besimcha. Now, the Maimorim, the Fidik Rebbe and the Rabbeim asked, wait a minute, Onov, humbleness, and simcha, and happiness don't go together. Because humbleness is a concept of shiflus, aragilas. Simcha, when someone is happy, the two don't go together. The ganze arichas, how it works, that's the gadlus of Yosfa Novim Bavai Simcha, that are Onov, that they have said that his Metzius is garnish wert, and the ganze Metzius is that he's habit to the Rebishter, v'chulu v'chulu. So from that he gets the concept of Simcha. From his bittul, that's when he gets Simcha. Because Onov and Simcha are two opposites. So through the bittul, it's a long arichas. So he says, in other words, you have two levels, says Reb Yoel. A level which is called Onov, and a level which is called Sameach. Onov. Sameach is the top level possible for an Onov. So it says Reb Yoel like this. Onov is spelled Ayin Nun Vav. Ayin is 70. B'mispar kotten, when you take 70, make 7 plus 0 is 7. Nun is 50, so it's 5. And Vav is 6. 7, 5, 6. I'll get it. Sameach is 3, 4, 8. Shin is 300. Mem is 4, 8. So 7, 5, 6, 3, 4, 8. The phone number is 756-3408. Nu, wie kommt da rein a 0 dort? So he explained, very simple. When the Onov reaches almost at a top level of Simcha, that's when he gets a top bittul. So it's 756-3408. The bittul that comes right before the Onov Sameach. We heard this. We just couldn't believe it. You have people to do gematrias. This is not gematria. This is seichel. This is havana. He understood the concept of Onov Sameach, because in gematria you're going to miss a 0. It's a klapnish in the gematria. Here's not the gematria. Here's the havana soinian. There's a concept which is called Onov. There's a concept called Sameach. The Onov Sameach, when he gets to almost to the highest level, that's when he gets the bittul, and that's the pshat in the maimer, and that's the phone number. I remember then we heard of it. That's it. This brain just has no limits. Reb Yoel, Heichel Menachem, the Rebbe should give you all the brachas that you took this man, you extracted out of him, whatever possible. Heichel Menachem is, I don't know if the most, but one of the top people who are in the forefront that have the schus of taking the brain that we have the schus of having in this generation, the Doilu Mashke, as everybody knows, and Pashtet that he should give out, explaining to us the Pashtet to mention, Pashtet verstehen a stickel Tanya, verstehen a wort Chassidus, and he gave a chayis in the concept of learning Chassidus. And therefore, there is no question, Heichel Menachem deserves all the assistance that we can give them, that they should continue. We are now in the generation of modern technology. Imagine if we would be able to take videos and tapes of Rabbi Zikomner and the Pinchas Reizes. The Rebbe did not make it that way. The Rebbe made it that it's only in this generation. For us, frag by the Rebbe. For us, because this is the Achonah to Mashiach. And that's Umalor Deis Havaya. So therefore, now that Heichel Menachem is making a campaign, let's all get together, help Heichel Menachem, let's put this thing up, and before this building is going to go up, Be'ezrat Hashem will be zeicha that we're going to have this galus of Melech HaMashiach taken from Yad Mamish, and we'll be able to hear the Torah Chadash Amiti Tetzei directly from Melech HaMashiach, Mitala Hasboris, and it should be Bekar of Mamish taken from Yad. Hatzlacha Rabbi.